This video is about silver and gold, and a tall tale about meeting a stranger on a bridge. Stick around. Welcome to Silver Heist. Thank you to our returning subscribers and guests. We're a channel that likes to buy physical gold and silver, and we like a coin with a good story. If you like those things, please subscribe. I've never told anyone about this story before. I wanted to get some fresh air and some exercise, so I went down to the Cod Canal for a walk. Not only did I walk the canal, but I decided to get a better view by crossing the big bridge. It's a 4-lane bridge that connects you to Cape Cod, and there's only a little sidewalk on one side. So when I'm about halfway across the bridge, I bump into a guy coming the other way. He sees my Silver Chimp t-shirt and he asks me, "Are you a coin collector or a silver stacker?" I'm like, "I'm a silver stacker." And he says, "Me too. My name's Louie." And I'm like, "Well, my name's Silver Heist. Nice to meet you." And so I ask him, "Louie, are you a 3/9 fine silver or a 4/9 fine silver?" And he's like, "Well, American Silver Eagles. I'm kind of a 3/9 fine silver." I'm like, "Wow, me too." So he asked me, "Do you collect a little though? Do you have a couple of nice coins from, say, the Perth Mint?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've picked up a few." And so I ask him, "Do you call it constitutional silver or junk silver?" And he says, "I call it junk silver." I'm like, "Wow, I just call it junk silver too." So he asked me, "Do you also stack gold or just strictly silver?" And so I'm like, "No, I think we should diversify." So I have some gold. He's like, "Wow, me too." So I ask him, "Well, do you get 22 karat gold or 4/9 fine gold?" And he's like, "I'm a kind of a 22 karat gold person." I'm like, "Yeah, I stack American Gold Eagles. Me too." So he asked me, "Have you ever sold any coins?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just sold a bunch of war nickels." He's like, "I just sold a whole bunch of gold that I got 10 years ago, and I bought a Boston whaler." And I'm like, "That's amazing." And he's like, he was so excited. He's like, "Yeah, and I'd like to take you fishing sometime. We can go out on Cape Cod Bay and catch some striped bass." So I ask him, "Hey, does your wife support you in your silver and gold stacking?" He's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Wow, mine does too. I'd love for our wives to meet each other." So I gave him my home address and I invited him over for breakfast and coffee and told him that I was making waffles. So then he says, "Silver Heist, this is amazing. We're both silver stackers with 3/9 fine bullion, a few Perth Mint coins, who also call it junk silver. We've got gold, 22 karat gold specifically, and we've actually sold some coins, and our wives both back us up." And so I'm like, "You know, Louie, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship." And so he says, "That might be right. By the way, do you have any paper gold?" And so I tell him, "Well, as a matter of fact, I own 75 shares of the GLD Gold ETF in my rollover IRA. So Louis calls me a heretic and throws me off the bridge.